Hi, my name is Łukasz Langa.
And my name is Pablo Galindo.
And this is the Core.py podcast, a forgotten podcast that is still ongoing.
Forgotten podcast. You are too negative, Łukasz.
Where we used to discuss internals of CPython and our adventures in making a new version of your favorite programming language. We still owe you part 2 of how calling works in Python, but there's been a lot going on in our lives. And so this time we'll talk about something spicy instead, just to revive the podcast.
We are very much alive, but just seeing there are things happening, things from different countries. Łukasz, what do you have to tell us?
Yes, there's a lot of changes.
Oh.
Well, before we get to the actual spicy subject, we can warm things up a bit with some personal news of mine.
Ooh.
So it's been almost 5 years since I started work at the Python Social Foundation as the CPython developer in residence. The first one, but now there's like 5 of us. Well, it's time for me to move on. I mean, I'm just honestly so lucky and honored to have had the opportunity to just start this program, to kick it off. Now, it's big and it's in good hands and it's continuing. But yeah, I need to leave.
Oh,
and
no.
the vacancy created by my departure will be filled after PyCon US. Since PyCon is coming, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. The PSF is in fact fully focused currently on delivering this event. So yeah, after that happens, they will be looking for a replacement.
Well,
I'm happy to share that Meta will continue sponsoring the CPython developer in residence role for 2026 and 2027.
2 years.
Well, they sort of have this staggered sponsorship that ends in August and whatnot.
Okay. So just 1 year.
More than 1 year from now.
Very generous.
I agree. And let me clarify one thing. As a contractor, you only bill for the hours that you work. You don't bill for sick days. You don't bill for holidays. You don't bill for vacation. So the lump sum that Meta spent on me was for a contractual year, but it was impossible for me to actually bill for 100% of it. So there was always some leftover money that would carry on to subsequent years. So with that in mind, there is leftover money as we speak.
Wow.
And moreover, the money that is now being contracted from July to July will only be spent after the new person gets hired and they start billing the Python Social Foundation. So in this sense, no money will go to waste. And this is why I'm saying the position is essentially safe throughout 2027.
As 1/5 of your boss, soon to be not your boss anymore. We'll miss you.
I will miss you too. I mean,
your
we got
skills.
to work on pretty cool projects together. And even though I'm not disappearing, I'm still going to be a core contributor to Python. I expect to not have the same amount of time that I had right now. And over the years, so much has changed. When I first started, we were still on bugspython.org.
Jesus, really?
Yes, I was actually
Disgusting.
directing this transition to GitHub issues. And then we had CLAs that were a manual process when I first started, and that was replaced with an automated system. I was a big proponent of the introduction of free threading to Python, telling everybody to treat Sam Gross's prototype and the plan that he initially had for this transition seriously.
Squeeze it
and
in your
then we actually ended up having a PEP, and the rest is history now. Free threading is the future of Python. So yes, so much stuff. And between those thousands of pull requests that I reviewed or authored, well, more reviewed than authored, obviously, and the many less glamorous tasks like content moderation and keeping the lights on when it comes to core workflow, I've interacted with some pretty amazing individuals, like yourself included, dude.
Oh.
So yes, some of those people are core developers now. I've witnessed the growth of the full-time paid developer in residence roster at the Python Software Foundation from 1 person to 5. So, yeah, well, it sure was something. It sure was something.
What is the thing that you are more proud about, Łukasz? What is the thing? What is the thing that you look at the thing?
I mean, like,
this is my shit.
All of those things, like the most fun I actually had, like I love the features, obviously, but like the most fun I've had is always when there were like semi-forgotten PRs waiting for months and whatnot, and then finally I got to one, and then I just kind of made a few changes because, for example, it already conflicted with the main,
right?
And there were some comments left on like, yeah, please, like, rename this function or like do this sort of I don't know, additional test, or there's a typo in the news entry. So you do all of those things, little things, and then boom, suddenly a thing that was blocked indefinitely is now merged, and I did a ton of that shit, and none of that is actually preserved in the history of the repo because like all of that work is sort of silent, but I really enjoyed it over the years. Some of those things like that I sort of worked on through that opened me up to like some really weird like parts of Python, including like the sort of PR of the week that I'm going to be talking about today is not something that I expected to work on last week, and this week that was just the thing, So yes, I expected, to work maybe on some sort of, I don't know, safe ground for myself. But the most fun I've had was always just discovering how large Python is and how many weird things we actually have in it.
Lots of them.
Kind of now. Yeah, like now after, kind of spending my time as a developer in residence, I actually need to move because I want to move physically to Vancouver, British Columbia.
No more Poland.
Yeah, I cannot actually stay employed at the PSF because I cannot open a business in Canada to keep invoicing them. So I will be actually starting a job at Meta as a software engineer on the Python Language Foundation team. I founded that team back in 2016. So
full circle. Time is a full flat circle thing. Time flat circle.
Yes, time is a flat circle. Yeah, always dreamed about living in Vancouver. Meta is making it possible.
So the constant in your life is Meta. Meta is the constant in your life.
I don't know. Actually, like Meta found me because of Python. And then I kept using and contributing to Python after Meta. And then Meta came back sponsoring my role still in Python. And now I'm going to be working on Python like for Meta. How long that's going to be is entirely up to them. I'm like pretty invested in like, actually just making things better there internally, because in my time at Facebook, if you remember that, like the sort of things that we were working on internally actually had pretty big external impact as well, right? So it allowed me to do
because
cool shit.
You left when it was Facebook still, no?
Yeah. I never worked at Meta, so now it's going to be the first time.
You were never a Meta mate?
I was never a Meta mate, no.
But you will be a Meta mate now?
I will, yes.
How do you feel?
I'm pretty excited about like seeing all the people that I have not seen like before. Maybe they will allow me to touch some like very expensive NVIDIA GPUs in the data centers, like
it's fun that maybe it's a whole Jira or whatever the fuck they use, like with label Łukasz Langa, and then when you join, you get assigned all the bags of your old code.
Oh, like yes, like when I was leaving, like there were like
black 3
there were over 100 tasks on me when I was leaving. So like if I find them still assigned to me, that's gonna be funny.
There is a guy when you join, he's like, motherfucker. He got assigned to your shit.
In any case, funnily enough, like when I was recruiting with them, like the recruiter told me like, hey man, you have to do like all the lead code bullshit. You have to like prepare, like you have to be like on the top of your game. So I did like 200 like exercises on lead code, like, I did like advent of code, like all of that shit. And through that time, I discovered, like just keep in mind, I've been the developer in residence for CPython for almost 5 years. And only while actually doing lead code, I'm like, we actually have a bisect module.
Come on, dude! Like that's what? Really?
I never knew that we have like. Well, when I had to actually implement it twice, I just did it myself. I just did not know that we actually
I
have
do
this.
recommend all the people that ask me like, how can I practice? So I always said like you should implement at least bisect like you fucking like know it from like it must be in your fingers, not in your brain. But like of course, like once you go to the interviews, don't fucking be a normie, dude. Like just use the bisect module. It's also implemented in C, so like you can do it very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I knew about HipQ, right? Okay,
but you know
like,
that now
I knew about all of like
Max.
all sorts of. Yes, and that is super useful. Yes, like even like for like this sort of kinds of like lead code exercises that like you might actually encounter. So I knew about this. I knew about topological sort. I was there when they added it. Like yes, but bisect, it's sort of.
What do you mean they added it? I added it.
When they
Wait,
Pablo added it.
You didn't know it was me. It was me all along.
I thought it was Raymond all along.
Sure. Come on. What the fuck? No, wait. I have a better one. It was me. Well, technically, it was me and Tim Peters, but they took a lot. What happened is that the original issue actually was opened by Raymond. He said, we should have topological sort. And then Tim Peters appeared and said, do you know what? We should have this nuclear power topological sort that can be done in parallel and all sorts of shit. And then Larry Hastings appeared and said like, nuclear power topological sort that can do all sorts of shit. I will use it for my own devices, because he was doing like some kind of job manager thing. And then I implemented the whole idea in a very efficient way. And then like I put it in the functools module because what the fuck would you put it? And then Raymond was like, no, no, this should not be here. Which I agree. So I created GraphLeaf, which it's only fucking function being the topological sort and the exceptions. And then I think that was not the best option. But it was a difficult option because like it was not the best option because like now everybody expects GraphLeaf to have all sorts of graph shit that doesn't have. And I think we didn't particularly enjoy the fact that we have GraphLeaf because like, that particular issue. But on the other hand, like the alternative was functools, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like now there's been cases where I did use topological sort, so it's useful to have it around.
Static order.
It's useful to have bisect around. Yeah, like now that I know about it.
I mean, bisect is more useful than topological sort.
Still, all I'm saying is like Python is too big for one single person to actually remember all standard libraries.
I mean, yeah, but bisect, dude, like I don't know. You're fired. That's my.
Yeah, well, fair. At the same time, in my defense, maybe the reason why we don't see it that often is that it's just finished. It's essentially just two algorithms left and right, and they're implemented, and we're done. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good explanation.
No.
Well, who knows what now with the new job, Claude or another agent will suggest me use now that I'm climbing the ladder and the leaderboard of token usage and whatever.
Claudonomics! That's what it's all about now. Tell us the truth, Łukasz. You joined Meta because you couldn't use enough tokens in your Python core developer in residence job. You want more tokens, like that guy from NVIDIA said. I know he's called Jensen, but like it's like we need to like beep it out.
That guy, yes.
That guy is like. If my $500,000 developer is not using $250,000 of tokens, so I will go ape or something. So you want those tokens, those tasty tokens. Okay, let's talk about tokens, Łukasz, because that's what the fuck is what's going on with your camera. Stop escaping the frame.
I don't know, like
your fucking camera. Your camera is shaming you, man. Like it doesn't even focus in on your fucking face. Like this fucking guy. Your camera doesn't respect you, man. Like get your shit together. Get your shit together. My camera
is unscrewing, but why?
What a mystery. Doesn't matter. We are here to talk about fucking AI shit. we are all doomed, Gukesh Langer.
Yes.
Open with the opener.
I'm going to open with the opener. So we've had ChatGPT introduced a few years back, and you could ask it to write little Python scripts, and everybody said that's amazing. So I tried it out, and it was terrible.
Bad.
I was like, yeah, like, you know, like that was at the time of like GPT-3 or whatever. Like it was not really that useful.
Right.
But people said, no, like now we have better models like Sonnet 3, 3.5, 3.7, but those were still chat-based systems to code, and you cannot really code any meaningfully big project that way.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and then we had like Claude Code that appeared, and I started like playing with that, and it felt like a slot machine to me because, you know, like you pull and nothing happens, and you pull and something frustrating happens, but every now and again it would just strike gold, and it would just like generate you something that would take you days to do. And that was the first time where I was like, wow, like actually this is pretty cool. And in particular, I was most impressed when I was like, I have this RP 2040 microcontroller on a thing, and I know that CircuitPython should be able to use both cores on that microcontroller, and yet CircuitPython only allows me to use one. So how about if I use the other core for my like nefarious purposes, because I know CircuitPython is not going to touch it. Well, so guess what? Like obviously it's not that easy, and like plenty of things like would go wrong. But Claude did help me pretty substantially with that, like to make that work. And I was coding in C and whatnot, and I was like, whoa, that works. At the time, still coding CPython was very frustrating because Claude was apparently trained on the CPython code base, but from like a few years back,
right,
or whatever. And that made it really often like just undo things that we were doing. So when I was trying to work on Python 3.14 for changes in PyREPL, it would just revert code to 3.13 stage, like, you know, just like undoing some fixes that we made and whatever, like refactoring tests back to how they looked when we first introduced PyREPL, and like other shit. Like it would always get confused about which Python interpreter to run, and like plenty of like really weird things, like not really that great. Like, so it was very much like a slot machine that like you either hit or more often you missed, but in a frustrating way where it looked like you almost won. Like if you can only just like direct it a little better, it's gonna be worthwhile. But it never was. And now in December or so, we hit a newer version of those tools and a newer model, and that like actually passed the threshold where the general, I don't know, vibe of what I'm getting, which is the word that everybody's using, so I guess, like, is like, this is now more often useful than not.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yes, of course. I do have an entire folder with screenshots of silly things that Claude tells me, and yet I find myself being a happy customer. I was paying for the Max subscription for a while, and now Anthropic is gracefully footing the bill for core developers. So thanks for that.
Well, I just learned about it. I just learned about this today.
From me, because you don't pay attention to Discord.
I do pay attention to Discord, just not to the AI bullshit.
So Greg, if you're listening, like Pablo wants in on the Claude Max subscription.
Yes, I want to be part of the cool class.
Well, but if so, then you need to dial down your your criticism that is about to come.
Well, but it's not criticism of the tool itself. I mean, the tool is the tool, right? Like, you know, if I make a profiler, and the profiler has like whatever, you know, it's as best as I can. Like, I'm not going to be an asshole and say, oh, your profiler is not. Like, it's mostly about like how people use the tool.
There is at least one profiler where you would actually go pretty far in your criticism.
Yes, one profiler.
Yeah, if you want to know, it's called.
Oh no!
I obviously beat that out. Yeah.
Motherfucker. But yes, okay, but good. All of this is good, Łukasz. But like, let's go to the meat of the question. This Mastodon thing.
Well, so the inspiration for this particular topic to cover today was really that like the one independent, open source, and fully distributed social network that we now successfully have, which is Mastodon, is pretty famously negative towards AI
No AI.
You could call them skeptics. You could call them really conservatives when it comes to AI. And a lot of the sort of criticism that they have would be directed at like how the models are trained, about energy usage, about like disruption to like stability of industries and whatever, about introspectability of it and whatever. All of that was like, yeah, I guess, right? We are in the research and development stage of AI. So even though I agree with like all of those worries, I do strongly believe that just the forces of capitalism, which will at least at some point force this entire like industry to get more efficient. But there came a time when Mastodon came for Python. And they started talking like about Python as if like we joined the dark side, that AI assist is the end of real software, that Python stopped treating software engineering as a serious endeavor.
Why? What did we do?
Why? Well, because somebody found that there is one commit, now there's like 6 or 7, where it actually has co-authored
the
by
Claude thing?
Claude code, and people started blocking the Claude account on GitHub. So they started seeing the banner on GitHub that somebody you blocked contributed to this repo, and they started
for real.
Yes, and they started seeing this on CPython. And when I saw this and like a lot of hate directed at us, core Python developers, then I was like, oh, looks like this is relevant for us to talk about. So here we are.
Why would you block Claude? Like
just so that you could see the banner that GitHub shows you, and so that you could add like, a project you hate
the master of the universe, and know who to hate.
Exactly. Yes, because
this sounds very I don't know, it will lead to a lot of disappointment. Let's say it that way.
Well, if Linux kernel now like also has like Linus Torvalds doing LLMs and whatever, like then I think like, well,
yeah, but not on the kernel, dude. He was doing it on this fucking like home project about like audio. So like, you know, he's doing these guitar pedals, you know, like he's into audio now.
I'm actually reading through a very short AI coding assistance like guide on the contributor process to the Linux kernel, and it just says that all tools, including AI tools helping with the Linux kernel development, should follow the standard kernel development process about the coding style and how the actual process of merging a patch works and everything, and how to submit. And the only thing that they really say is that all contributions must comply with the kernel's licensing requirements, and AI agents must not add signed off by tags. Only humans can legally certify the developer certificate of origin. And humans are responsible for reviewing all generated code, ensuring compliance with licensing requirements, adding their own signed off by, and taking full responsibility for the contribution. The existence of this policy strongly suggests that there already are commits that were co-authored by Claude code in there in the Linux kernel.
But this is very sensible. I think it's the same kind of we have. Maybe we have not to spell it out, but like, you know, fine. Like at the end, I don't know, man. Like as we will discuss in a second, I think the parts that are wrong here is not like the fact that people use or doesn't use Claude code. It's like the way they do it.
Yeah.
No, like who cares if you give me like good code? Well, I mean, maybe I care, but like, you know, if the code is good and you're responsible and it is nice and like it's done in a way that, you know, makes sense, which a lot of those will be clarified in a second. Like, you know, who the fuck cares? Like, this Claude or like not Claude?
I mean, I agree with that. Our actual dev guide sort of now has a pretty outdated policy, I guess, that predates all of this sort of December, you know, earthquake of models that are actually pretty capable of just one-shotting like entire PRs. That was not happening before. So our own guidelines on the matter currently really just like sort of spell out all the dangers in which like old style like AI agents could really just like trick somebody who is not paying attention into making not the change that they intended. And to be clear, still changes generated will very often not be perfect, like even if they seem one-shotted. But I think we moved from the quality that like the generative AI page in the dev guide is talking about. I think currently tools are much better than what we were sort of warning about before. So yeah, like essentially, I think we're gonna evolve this. But of course, like the sort of main consideration is that like in the end there has to be a human that knows what they're submitting, and there's gonna have to be an ability for that human to like be part in a conversation about the change that they want to introduce to Python.
Okay, so I want to share a bit my experience here. So I am a bit sad in the past month or so about this whole thing. The reason is not because Claude or not Claude, or just to be clear, codex or not codex or whatever people use, is because like I am losing touch with people. Like, and let me explain. I've been in several situations when several contributors have been asking me to review code quite a lot, and then I spend kind of like half an hour or more reviewing the code. And then it's pretty clear that the person behind it is just like copy pasted my review, if it even copy pasted or uses like whatever, and then Claude answers back to the point that like most of my comments have no answers other than just the next comment co-authored by Claude.
Yeah.
So okay, so maybe technically it's correct because like I'm asking for some things that is wrong with the PR, and then an entity, human or not, like addresses those things in a way that most of the time, by the way, is satisfactory because I've been like pretty explicit about like what I want or like why this is wrong or something like that. The thing is that I've been feeling quite sad about this to the point that I don't know, like I'm not happy anymore doing this, because where is the human? Like in the sense that like if you contributed to CPython before, I will spend a lot of time making the contribution a nice experience.
Yes.
Like I will spend time guiding you, like explaining you the code base, telling you why this is not the way we do it, how to do things correctly, like to think about like the mental model. And like I will spend a lot of time kind of thinking about the review process, right? I will shape the review in a way that is us doing it, not you doing it wrong. Like it's say, oh, let's do this, or like it's nice. Like that takes time. And then like the reason I put this effort is because like someone will grow out of this. Like after this interaction, someone will learn. Exactly. So every PR was an opportunity for mentorship, and great. A lot of excellent outcomes have come from that. Like a lot of people that I mentor and people that I didn't mentor, but like they had a nice experience when I review. But now there is no human anymore. It's just a proxy for AI. So I just like review, and then more AI comes in. So I'm just talking with the agents by proxy.
Well, so because of all of those changes, actually GitHub introduced a pretty revolutionary change lately, right? Where you can literally say on your project that we are not accepting pull requests. You can disable that, which for the longest time, the platform claimed that this is their main reason for existence. So you cannot disable the ability for people to create PRs, because if the code is open, then why wouldn't you let people contribute? And now you can. And this is because of the sort of wave of like drive-by PRs, and sometimes they are so massive, so big in numbers, and so clearly auto-generated that we would just like block people entirely because it's just disruptive.
I cannot describe how much it sucks my soul dry. Like it also like, dude, I have 3 or 4 independent contributors, 3 or 4. Yeah. Which okay, maybe it's 3 or 4, but like for what I'm going to say is quite a lot. Independently come to me saying like they couldn't contribute to a specific issue because as soon as I open the issue for them, because like we talk about it, and we say, okay, let's fix this in another PR. Let me open an issue and we will track. Like some fucking random PR appear. and like it's just like in a second, bank. And before it was some, there's some PRs obviously made by Claude that is like so ridiculous. Like I have one, there was a bug in the parser, and then someone submitted. I opened the issue, and in 3 seconds I have a 500 line PR.
Yeah, exactly.
And the actual fix is like a single line. It's just a single line. And then someone submitted a 500 line PR because he was working around it. It's perfect. And that was like literally 2 weeks ago. So it's not even pre-December, right? It's fucking ridiculous. Of course, like I suppose if you know what the actual issue is, like you can guide Claude into doing the one line fix because but like this is the important part between knowing and not knowing.
Yeah.
So, but then, people couldn't contribute because it was some PR that was okay, maybe not horrible, but like, it was there. So it's just horrible. Like, I don't know, man, like this drives me nuts. And I had this experience as well when, I'm helping in the PSRT list.
Yes.
The Python security response team. And, we have some people submitting security issues and we need to triage them. And most of them are fucking Claude code. And I know it because like, it's just like the same structure, like sections, like tested and like, test plan and reproducer. And it's just like bullet points with bold text at the beginning, colon, and just fucking random shit. And, there is all sort of like, grandiose critical vulnerability, and you spend a lot of time thinking about it because most of them can crash something. Like for instance, there was this one that could crash the new profiler if the profiler, like the process being profiled, is corrupted and evil. So if it corrupts the data that the profiler needs, so okay, you can crash the profiler, but is that a security problem? No. Probably not. Like because you're not hacking anything, you're just crashing. It's a bug, sure. You could argue that, but like, is that a security problem? Probably not. But then we went back and forth, and every single time it was just fucking Claude answering. It's just like more section, more blah blah blah. So you couldn't just close the thing because like the person is almost there, like in the sense that, and the guy managed to find a mega fucking like 6 jumps version that was doing remote code execution. So there was something. It's just like so fucking insane that it was a 5, a CV5. So not super crazy, but like it ended up being a security issue.
Severe, yeah.
Yes, so you look enough, but so we couldn't close it. But like the guy was not even talking; it was like just Claude code, more Claude code. So I don't know. I just don't like this, dude. Like I just hate it. I just hate it. Let me say it here in our public corner of the world. I hate it with all my fucking soul. It's just horrible. Like I don't want to do it anymore. I just want. I mean, what I don't want to do is to review Claude code created PRs when the person is Claude code. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind if you are a person. And then you use Claude code, and I'm telling you things, and like there is learning and there is engaging, and you use Claude code for something. I don't know. Maybe you say Claude code, explain me the code, or Claude code, implement this fucking thing that I think. Like I don't mind. Like even if you just add the implemented by Claude code or like codex or whatever it is, right? I don't mind that. But like, but man, like none of them are like this. It's just like a bazillion lines that nobody read because most of these PRs are so wrong that is mega obvious that you didn't read these things. And when you ask for like, hey, why you design this way? Like, then the answers are always like weird excuses. It's like, something. And it's like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like one thing that you cannot ask an LLM is what were you thinking, right? Because by the time the response is generated, like your next question just generates more output. So it's still the same process. Like it cannot come back and say, oh, I chose this path because of this reason. Like it doesn't know. Like it just generated tokens, right? So
or people just abandon. This happens to me several times. Like people just abandon the discussion when they are like quote unquote discovered. You know what I mean? Like when they don't have a good answer, they just like close the PR or whatever.
Yeah, and Python is actually swamped with pull requests. When I first started work as the developer in residence, there were around 1,500 of them, and I had this initial push to like bring this number down, to churn as fast as I could, to maybe get under 1,000, maybe do something more substantial than this, to essentially make sure that all the existing pull requests are reviewed. But now we are way over 2,000 open pull requests and counting, even though there's 3 CPython developers in residence and 2 other people who are doing work that is related to Python. So there's no way we can actually get that number down ever, especially in the current day and age where those pull requests tend to be automatically generated. It is just not a fair game. It's just not a fair game.
Yes, exactly.
I have to admit that I'm a little embarrassed that like I was one of the people like, you know, kind of laughing at like how GitHub achieved like the new single 9 sort of SLA metric and whatever, but it did not occur to me before that part of why is that they're just getting slaughtered as a platform with the number of like API requests all the time, not just the commits, PRs and whatever, but also just the sheer read and write engagement that all of the AI tools generate. Like this platform like sees exponential growth in usage, right? And it's not humans, it's all of those tools. So no wonder that they're not ready to like handle like the infrastructure growth needed.
I mean, yeah, and just to be clear, like I want to clarify this just because there is a lot of chance for misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not against the thing itself. Like maybe some people are, and I respect that, of course. I don't want to mention if it's good or bad. Perhaps I was a bit behind other people. I'm recently only playing with this very recently, since now I have access at work and whatnot. But and I'm learning how to do things right. But so in that sense, I'm maybe not the best person to judge. But like the only thing I'm kind of like complaining here is the loss of human interaction in all this process, right? It's not even like you use this or that, or like I'm talking. It's like I don't want to talk with a bot.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that because I can do it myself. Like you know what I mean? I can either do it myself or I can talk with the bot myself. Like you know what I'm. So in that sense, I don't need someone to give me their Claude Max subscription, right? Like I like. What's the point? Like in the sense that what if that is something people want to help, perhaps you should review other people's code. I don't know how well Claude will review code, but like perhaps you could do that.
So I actually have some experience with that. Because if you paid attention, then like most of what I was doing as the CPython developer in residence was just literally just like looking at what other people did and pressing the green button when it was ready. And like, well, newsflash, like ever since the XZ sort of long-term backdoor introduction and whatever, it was pretty clear to all core developers that just like happily accepting PRs as they come is just not safe. You cannot do that. Like potentially any change, even if it looks sort of innocent, can be adversarial because maybe it's just part of a longer scheme to just open a hole in Python and then, you know, sort of exploit it somehow. So we were looking suspiciously at PRs, including our own, for quite a while. So this doesn't change this, right? When you are actually looking at like AI assisted PRs, well, it doesn't free you from the, you know, review that you actually have to put in there. It is frustrating when it's like thousands of lines and like, of course, like those PRs don't review well. But like, that's your responsibility as a human, like when you're pressing the green button. So
right.
Just addressing this like, hey, Python is no longer like seriously doing software engineering because there are some commits co-authored by Claude. Well, no, like just we treat it as a code generator. We still review this code just as we would otherwise. In fact, like a lot of the cases, I would say that it is now safer to use a tool to generate things that you want to have exhaustive than like just to attempt to do it manually. Just review it, just like make sure that you understand how it's tested, be able to run it yourself, like know it like the back of your hand when you press the green button, but nothing wrong with actually getting that implementation out. Like I do that.
This is my take on this. I try a bunch, especially because like some people in the team now are trying this different, how it's called, skills. Is that the thing or something like that? The skills thing when like they review C code or whatever. Like I don't know. Like I'm not stupid, right? I want to try it. So and I have a similar feeling. Like, do you know when like you admire some person because they know a lot about X, but you don't know X? and then you're like, wow, this person looks so intelligent and whatever, and like fucking amazing. And then they mention something on the same level of certainty about something that you know, and it's mega bullshit. Like it's just mega bullshit. And then you say, oh, maybe they don't know that much about X. You know what I mean? Like maybe people that know about X are also saying, not fucking fantastic. This happens to me with several people that may or may not. Well, okay, whatever. And
Stop
then
looking at me like that.
No, no, I don't admire you. Sometimes I admire you. Let's
Yeah, that's more honest. That
okay,
makes sense.
more realistic. Okay, okay. Anyway, so for me it's the same because like I have seen like very convincing like answers to fucking code that I have never seen, like a contribution. Like, okay, you contribute to something and I have no think about that. And then, I say, oh, okay, let's see what this says. And it says a bunch of shit. And like, oh, okay. But like, when someone, like, when I did it over my own PRs, it's just some fucking bullshit. Like, it's like, oh, if the user disconnects the computer at the same time you run the profiler, it will crash. Oh, okay. Sounds, I mean, it's not like that, but it's like weird shit. It's like things that is obviously not going to happen or things that are implicit in the design. And there are other things that are correct, right? Like, like things, but things like, you are reading this binary format and there is padding, you will read the padding. I mean, yes, of course, but I'm not writing padding, right? Like I know that because I'm seeing the other code and you can see it as well. Like it's not that I'm hiding it from the thing. It's just like, I don't know, doesn't make the connection. So I don't know, like I'm a bit, I'm afraid to be biased by what the thing says because like, if I don't know your PR, and then there is this thing that tells me, blah, 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 like, then I was like, oh, wow, like, blah, 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 blah. So, but like, maybe, sometimes I did the check and like, I didn't find anything else. Like, maybe it was that thing.
So what's your prediction? What's going to happen, like, with the current trajectory of how things look like with GitHub and how we're sort of like slammed with PRs from random people that don't want to discuss them. And we get like the worst comments that we ever get are clearly from bots, are just like not real humans.
Well, I've been thinking about it. I have a prediction for you. It's bad. But like, I don't think there is a way to avoid it. GitHub and most platforms, directly or indirectly, so officially or not officially, using features or not, we will need to impose a reputation system. Like there is no other way around it. Like in the sense that now you will have a reputation that must be semi-transferable. Like, I mean, we already have that, just to be absolutely clear, right? Like when I go to some random place and then I make a PR and people look at my profile, they say, okay, this guy is not stupid, right? Like, okay, because like he did this and that. Maybe I'm a stupid, like secretly, as you very well know, I'm a fucking clown. But like, okay, this guy, and like you could even say, well, this guy is like a robot, right? Because I existed before the born of AI and there is code that predates this. So you can even check code that 100% can be proven that it's no AI and, you can trust it. So in that sense, like you can trust that code at least is not fully garbage. But like if I don't know you, then you're going to be under the microscope, which in theory sounds good.
It's weird because I was about to make a very similar prediction, which is less about like, like GitHub is going to have to like change, but more about the other side, that the golden age of onboarding new core Python contributors has passed.
Indeed.
Because now like it'll be harder for new people to interest us enough for us to pursue mentorship, because random new people starting like to contribute is going to look suspicious, right? Like you're going to look at them as if like, obviously you're just using tools and you're not paying attention. And if somebody is not paying attention, why would you argue with Claude Code over a PR?
It's not only that, is that there is, I mean, maybe there is I think there is a version of this where like we don't end that this badly. I will mention which one in a second. But I think the problem is that most, like it's an asymmetric, I keep saying this, it's an asymmetric relationship because right now the bottleneck is me reviewing the code or you reviewing the code, right? And me making sure that what I merge, because that was always the responsibility of the core developer. Like whatever you merge is your responsibility as the person you merge. So it stops being your responsibility, it starts being mine. So when I merge, it's my responsibility. I need to make sure that it's correct. Therefore, I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about it because I don't want to crash in the middle of the night and having to fix it and blah, 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 right? So it means that if you can produce code in a second and I have 30 minutes to review it, it's a very asymmetric relationship.
Absolutely.
Which means, right, and not only that, because there are other parts that perhaps like have more priority than contributions, for instance, the security problems, and that we are going to be like flooded by security things. And the problem with those things is that unfortunately you cannot dismiss them as much because like some of them may be real and it's a big thing. So that means that the time available for contributors will shrink, right? And because it's asymmetric, like the time is the only currency now. Like how much time do I dedicate to people?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Right now I will have less of that. So that's problem number one. And the second one is that like now what I'm going to use that time for? Not certainly to talk by proxy to Claude, right?
Yes,
so like I will do it to review Łukasz PR because I know that Łukasz will listen to me and we can have a conversation or something like that.
This actually brings me to the PR that I want to talk about that I worked on this week, and I fully expect it not to actually be merged ever. Better yet, it is openly also Claude co-authored.
That was random.
And that's sort of the point. And this is also the
Wow, there's no way to... I configured the button to just restart. So you need to listen to
that's wrong. You need to reconfigure it. And anyway, like this PR is an example of a long-term contributor actually using Claude. So what? Like, is that terrible? Like, well, actually, no, I think it's a positive example of AI use because it's an entire story. So long story short, we have this sort of great thing that helps me every day, thanks to my wonderful first name, which is called Unicode. And Unicode has all of those bits and pieces that you can put as strings.
Bits and bobs.
And it's not very easy to tell how many of them are independent, how many of them compose with other bits and pieces that follow them, and what is the visible length of a string. Well, there's pretty complicated algorithms about this, and I'm not even talking about the encodings in bytes like UTF or whatever. I'm literally talking about already looking at Unicode code points that might use different number of bytes in memory, but even those code points is not entirely clear. Are they sort of standalone, or do they compose into a single character from a bunch of them? So how long is your string? Well, we don't know. So very recently, Serhii Storchaka added an ability for us in Unicode data, like to actually iterate over a Unicode string per grapheme. The function is called iter graphemes. And people are like, well, graphemes, what is that? Well, those are the visible characters that you see.
Not the code points.
Yes, because a single grapheme might be composed of multiple code points underneath, or one. But like when you are iterating...
We can very heavily use that in PyREPL, actually.
Yes, exactly. So like when you are iterating... using graphemes, what that allows you to do is you are iterating over a single visible thing at a time. Amazing. We only added that to 3.15, and Unicode data is implemented only in C. So now, there was an unrelated bug fix that we were working on that was about the fact that coloring in traceback module sometimes would be off. Would have like, would be applied not on the right indexes as you thought, visually that they should, because of wide characters, right? That consist of multiple.
But I fixed that. I fixed that in the past. I actually fixed it well in Japan because I went to Japan and some Japanese person pointed to me that my new feature, which was the squiggles that was under the traceback, not the color, was off because the Japanese use white characters.
I believe you
and I
that
use
you
this.
fixed it at least once, but now we had to fix it again.
It came back.
And I just well, I don't think it came back. I think there's just further edge cases in like how that was, which is why now like Sergey was like, oh, we are gonna use iter graphemes and I will solve it once and for all, and that's true. It's solved. It's beautiful. We landed it. So I applied backport to 314 to 313, and very quickly after solving like trivial conflicts, I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work, because
so isn't the solution here just backport the C changes and under an underscore thing?
They are pretty big. So I was like, well, actually, I am weirded out by Unicode data being C only, because back in the day we had this PEP called PEP 399 that said that we have a pact with Jython and PyPy where every new C standard module will have an equivalent in Python. Even if CPython is not going to use it because of performance, we will have a Python. I know there's exceptions, but like the general rule exists, right? That like we should have Python implementations. We never really made that PEP sort of like, outdated. Like we never really said that it's withdrawn or like, kind of replaced by something else. So as far as I could tell, that was the policy. But I noticed, well, Unicode data doesn't have a Python version. So how would it look like if we had a Python implementation of just iter graphemes? And I started working on that, and like very quickly just like had I would say a prototype, 200 lines, and I'm like, well, that's not too bad. We could just add this as part of like the bug fix for backports and just like shove it somewhere like underscore named and be done with that.
I mean, 200 lines is acceptable.
Yeah, I think so. But then I noticed, oh no, the implementation is also using some other Unicode data functions that are also only available in 315. So now we have to actually implement the core piece of Unicode data, which is actually parsing the Unicode database and putting it somewhere.
That's like fucking 3,000 lines.
Well, so fortunately not, because for you for what you actually only need is you call make Unicode data, you extend it so that there's a Python version for only the things that you need. So all in all, there's 250 lines of the clean room implementation of iter graphemes and another like 120 of like make Unicode data extension so that there's a pure Python version of it. And obviously there's like 400 lines of like all of those generated things that like are but not AI generated. It's the thing that make Unicode data.py generates during building Python. So
yeah, but like I think the problem of this PR is not even the number of lines, it's like the complexity per line, no? Like because there is all this like
sure, but at the same time this is algorithms that are like defined by the Unicode spec, and they're like pretty much like line per line implemented what the TR29 algorithm says. There's 100% statement and branch test coverage for this, and there's an equivalence testing of the C version and the Python version. So like the PR looks a little more scary than it otherwise would, just because like there's pretty proper testing there.
I think you dismissed too quickly the backport. Let me offer a reason why the backport is...
So
yes, let me offer you a reason why the C backport is superior. Because this code will not live in main, which the C implementation will live in main. This means that if we find bugs on the API that Sergey added, we can backport those bugs to 314, but because this Python only implementation will only live on 314, they cannot benefit from bugs that people find in 315. So we basically have three versions of this.
So yes and no, because I did this for like multiple reasons. So I had like kind of nefarious purposes for this particular PR too. So like, yes, it would be weird to make a change that only is supposed to land in 314 and 313, but that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted to make this as the introduction of a small subset of Unicode data that we could backport, but in the end, this was an exercise in how hard would it be to have a Python version of Unicode data from start to finish.
I think it's quite reasonable as a code. Like, especially I think it's the good case for doing that because it's very easy to audit. Like, it's just like you have another implementation, so you can check it in matches, you can read it. It's not like 3,000 lines that is, it's
and
very
this is
hard
a
to go
subset.
over.
So I did only that work for what we need for the backboard, but that was only as an example of like, hey, this is where we start. This would obviously grow, and like in the end, you could get a Python version. Why do you want it? Well, PyPy could use it, but also, and we talked about this on the podcast before, that with our wonderful JIT traces that you build and then actually create the machine code for in memory can only go as far as the boundary with a C extension. So if you have any Unicode processing that you need to do with Unicode data, well, this stops the effectiveness of the JIT because it cannot just go through that. It needs to construct a PyObject star and pass the string there and undo it later on, whatever.
Right. That's assuming that you have a JIT that is as effective as PyPy, right? Like, I mean, you already have a C version that compiles to assembly, so you could argue that.
I get it, but
why the JIT will be better?
All I'm saying is like I expect that if if the improvements continue on the JIT, then we will reach a point in which there's gonna be a behavior where enabling the JIT will prefer Python versions of modules to C versions so that this jump to PyObject star doesn't need to happen. And in this context, it would actually pay for us to maintain a Python version of Unicode data. But there's already plenty of comments on that PR. And as I said, I don't expect it to be landed because...
What do people say? Are they mostly positive?
All of the people that touch Unicode data and are experts on it are negative on pretty much the maintenance cost of Unicode data, in Python and the need for it. And also they just claim that, well, at the best, if we don't want to actually backport the C version of itergraphemes, so just for the reason of the backport in traceback.py, then maybe we just don't backport this bug fix because it's just not feasible to do it correctly. And we just live with the fact that sometimes a bunch of colors will be shifted a little bit. Like, who cares, right? Like, I mean, like at some point you just have to weigh your options. And you're entirely correct that this AI assisted code, I was able to essentially just whip out in 2 days. Great. And later on, it becomes the responsibility of humans to actually maintain forever.
Yeah, of everyone,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So hey, thanks Claude. Now it's actual humans that have to worry about it for years and years.
Yeah, but I think the second PR of the week also has the reverse side of that. No, let's talk about it actually.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
The second PR of the week, which is mine, is this. So this we need to start with a story. The story is that I switched terminals. Wow, big mistake. And I switched to Ghost TTY, new terminal, because I wanted to be cool, like the cool people that are using Ghost TTY and not Alacrity TTY or whatever.
I'm still on Western.
Ghost TTY is quite amazing, I have to say.
Yeah.
Very advanced, and I don't know, it feels very cool. I like it, and very happy. But there was a problem, Łukasz. The dancing prompt. Dancing. All right. What was the problem? Well, it turns out that the Ghost TTY has this innovation when it implements font ligatures. When you do bigger or equal than, and then boop, they become its own character, and boop, they merge, and now there is this super stylized version of the thing. Yes. Or not equal, you do bang equal, and it's just an equal with a cross thing.
Exactly.
All right, so they implemented this, very cool. And then it has this thing when if you pass the mouse or the cursor over the ligature, it breaks the ligature because you may write in the middle of it. So there is a problem. At the beginning of every Python REPL line, there are 3 characters. What characters are those, Łukasz Lange?
Those are the go right, chevrons or triangle brackets, however you call them, chevrons. The PS1.
Yes, correct. The chevrons. So turns out that 2 chevrons together, bigger than, for some reason, is a ligature. Cool. So it just forms the ligature. But then when you write in the line, they fucking dance like do, because the ligature keeps being breaking and rejoined again and again and again.
So you just see it. You see it like being formed and disappearing.
Yes.
I see.
They look like they are dancing. And then the reason that the problem is that every time you type a new character, we write the entire line.
Yes, that's what we used to do.
We go to the beginning of the line and bloop, and that was a Gookslang special. Yes, because
syntax highlighting required this.
Syntax highlighting.
Because the next token might decide on what the previous tokens actually, like how are they colored.
Exactly. So no bueno, disgusting. So I mentioned this to the Ghosty TY person because I didn't know what it was, and then the Ghosty TY person very nicely and very perhaps not 100% like super mega nice, but he basically said you should not implement shitty software. He didn't say that. He said I will look into that. But basically he was saying like if you're in case he didn't even know if that was the case, but he says in case you're drawing the line. I was like whoopsie. But anyway, like he was a good person. Like he even offered to take a look. So I said okay, this is bad. So I was looking at it and it's like let me fix it. But then I went into despair because this code is very complicated. And then I was missing all these abstractions and like I kept making bugs and like, you know how it is, right? Like you touch something and then it doesn't render and like it's impossible to know how you fuck up because the only way is this trace file is horrible. So I said, okay, fuck it. And then I implemented several abstraction layers because our code was basically... like it's basically interacting with the buffer directly. So all the code reasons about bytes. And like, you put color, now your code is not anymore hello, it's like slash, open bracket, 100 and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, escape sequences.
Exactly, horrible. And then everything needs to reason about that. That was not it, ha, ha, ha. So horrible. And it made everything very difficult. And then when we diff that to know how much we need to write to the screen, it's like the fucking diff as a like list of numbers. It's just horrible. So it was very difficult to reason about, very difficult to test, and I kept fucking it up again and again and again. So I spent 2 days fucking it up until I said, okay, fuck it. And then I spent the next 2 days writing these layers of abstractions. With now I have data classes, and those data classes implement 3 layers of different abstractions. So you could, when you diff things to decide what you're going to write to the screen, now they will operate on things like line and prompt.
Yes.
So you can know, okay, what is the diff of 2 lines? Okay, there will be bytes involved, but now there is this diff object now that you can move around, and then you pass this back to the renderer, and the renderer says, okay, I know how to render this diff. Okay, I will reason about in my low level code, but the reader now can reason in high level. All right. And then I said, I keep fucking up, but less. But I keep fucking up. It would be amazing if I can debug this. And I implemented the circus. The circus. What is the circus?
The circus is something that I'm amazed works for Pablo Galindo, who is famously colorblind. So what Pablo Galindo did is...
There is a lot of color.
Yes, he just added a shit ton of color because we didn't have enough color. So what you can do is when you're debugging this, you can switch a thing, and then the background of what PyREPL is emitting is changing colors every round of emitting. Every write is going to have a different background color, which enables you to actually see what was written last and what was written before that, because only the little diffs that actually are applied to the terminal are going to appear as just a few characters with a different background. And then you're going to see a few others somewhere else with yet a different background, and so on and so on. So when you're typing new characters, you're going to see that every character is going to be
the fucking circus.
Yes, a different color.
Yes.
So it looks like, all sorts of like a rainbow. But if you're making larger movements, like cursor up to actually see your history and whatnot, you're going to see a single write has now one color, but maybe it does not actually rewrite the prompt. So the prompt is going to stay with yet a different color, and so on. Very useful with debugging.
And then you have, like, for instance, a function with 3 lines, and then you change one single letter. If you press up arrow to go back, you will only see the change on that single letter.
Yeah.
So it will not rewrite the entire thing. So it's visual debugging. It's very cool, to be honest. I'm very proud of that. And then with that, I fixed all the bugs. Well, all the bugs that I know about. So, like, it was so easy. All right, so I'm very happy, and I made this PR. So it just refactors this thing and adds this thing. And I was chatting with your friendly neighborhood, Łukasz Langa. And then Łukasz Langa said something. He said, I reviewed it, but it's very complex.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because, like, this is not the case of, like, fuck ton of, like, Claude code. I mean, the PR is not precisely small, but, like, it's not.
I was going to say.
Mega huge. It's not small, but, like, there's a lot of tests and, like, there is a lot of threading around because, like, now, it's like I'm changing, for instance, I'm changing the invalidation. So now I don't do dirt equals true, and now I can, like, mark it and, like, I debounce the dirties. So, like, you don't, like, fucking, like, rewrite all the time. And that needs to be put in 6 trillion places. So, like, is the refactor plus the test. Anyway, I'm not asking you. It's not a non-trivial amount of code, but it's also complex. So, like, now, it's the same shit. Like, okay, maybe it was not easy to do as, like, snapping your fingers, but, like, we are in the same conundrum. Will we want to maintain this code or not? Because for me, obviously the answer is yes, because, like, I found this so much easier to work with directly, and I have this debugging thing that is very cool, and also that adds more code because, the debugging thing didn't come by free. You need to do it. But you kind of need to trust me here, right? Because, like, you spend a bunch of time, like, reading this, and then you say, new information equals more complex. And now there is more code than before. It's not just smaller. So now you need to kind of trust me that this code is better, which you can reason about it, but, like, there is a different conversation, right? Like, independently of the AI.
Yeah, yes, that is true. And also, like, even the PR that I was talking about that I don't expect, like, to actually be landed, the sort of point of, like, not including it as part of a backport was like, oh, look, like, this is like 400 lines of code, and we are not used to, like, adding such big changes as part of bug fixes. Well, like, if you want to bug fix the sort of
the integer shit.
yes, but, like, I mean specifically your PR, like, if we want to bug fix the nerd fonts not working correctly, then we are looking at backporting 2800 lines. Which is, like, well, let's be honest, like, sort of past the threshold of what I would be comfortable with for, like, a single bug fix, because it's, like, a pretty radical change in how we render. So,
well, yes and no.
Is it a bug fix? Is it a feature now?
No, but, like, I mean, it's a bug fix, clearly. But, like, this has happened before, right? Like, for instance, in the parser, we backported quite a lot of the changes because it kept being horrible experience, in the sense that the amount of work to recreate the backports on top of the previous branch introduced more risk.
Yes,
introduced more risk than just, like, copy pasting the new thing, which didn't have new features, of course, like, just the restructuring and, like, running forwards. Because otherwise it was so complicated, and we kept introducing new bugs because the backports were different. So will we want to do that? I don't know. On the other hand, I don't think we should prevent us to do refactors just based on the fact that backports will be hard, because then we will not handle anything.
Yeah, to be clear, like, I don't think it's an unreasonably hard change. But if somebody is going to tell you after seeing a change that has 2,750 lines of added lines and 600 lines removed, and they're going to tell you, yeah, I looked at it, looks good to me, then they haven't reviewed it. Like, so I don't think you should expect anybody to tell you that, like, over 3,000 lines touched of Python is like, yeah, like, that's an easy change. Like, all I told you during review is right. This is complex, because, kind of, if you were doing trivial shit in 3,000 lines, then what are you doing, right? Like, then obviously what you did is not trivial.
Makes sense, and I don't claim that it's easy to review, but, like, the interesting part here is that you can you can do, for instance, one of the things I did precisely because I knew it was a fuck ton of lines is that I splitted this PR in like, I think it's 8 comments or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now there's
so
17,
8 comments until
but like that's because
no,
I started
it's like
adding on top,
garbage,
yeah.
right? But you know, if you click in the first comments, you can see that they are not only atomic, but they have like a nice mini body explaining like what I'm doing, and like they are done with like purpose, right? So like every commit does something different and builds towards it. Of course,
And it says 2 days ago, co-authored by Copilot.
well, but it's just the update content of PY.
Yes,
no?
I see. Yes.
That's because like I triggered the fucking Copilot review.
I can also talk to you about that. That's an interesting experience I had.
Yeah. Just to be clear, what that means, like that. I mean, nothing wrong with like co-author by Copilot, but this is because I was adding Lang, and apparently GitHub has now this shit where like you can add Copilot as a reviewer.
Yes.
And then I added Copilot, and then Copilot like started reviewing the fucking code, and one of the things he did is like, you're calling theme in a loop, kind of, so you should not do that. And it had this like suggested change. So I said, okay, makes sense. And I said like, okay, commit this.
Yeah.
And now
it says,
there is a commit says
exactly.
Co-authored by Copilot. But my original code was not co-authored by Copilot. Sure. Again, nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that thing. So I'm not saying it because, it's like, evil or something, but like my whole point of these commits is that you could review them individually. Well, of course, it will only make sense if you know where I'm going towards, right? Because like a lot of this is like, separate this into 3 pieces and refactor this thing to move this thing out of the way and things like that. But it's not a single blow of 2000 lines.
Absolutely agree with that. And also like it is split over multiple files. So today I added quite a few tests to that, so that there's more unit tests that we can depend on right now. So
I mean, you tested it. Yeah, how was the testing experience? It was good.
So I haven't tested Windows, and apparently there is some like edge case on Windows there. But like Bartek Sławecki is looking into that, like me looking at the PR just now. So we should handle that. I'll also look at Windows later. But from macOS, like all I noticed in Western as a user, is that every now and again, when you were in PyREPL, you would just notice like it blinking, like not like actually sort of like changing width, like with nerd fonts or whatever, but just the fact that it was rewriting the entire line. Every now and again, the frames per second, whatever thing in Western would just change just enough for you to notice when the line was empty and it was just getting refilled. So every now and again, it would just flicker a little bit, like the current line that you were on, and that disappeared entirely. So like now, like looks better than ever. I could not find any performance degradation from the additional 2 layers of abstraction that you introduced. So it looks good to me. I played like with my usual like weird like kind of stress tests of PyREPL, and it worked with narrow, wide ones with pasting stuff and whatever. So yeah, like looks good to me. We will land that shit. But I wanted to talk about the Copilot reviews because that was like that's something where when Microsoft first added it to GitHub, I would every now and again, just like because I was bored, just click on that on like CPython or another repository in the Python organization, just for funsies, because they were mostly useless. So it was just like, yeah, let's see what it says, because mostly it would just be a waste of time, but like at least we could just like have a little laugh, or somebody actually thought that like I was serious with that and they would get angry at me, but like as I say, I'm a failed comedian, so not everybody gets the sort of like sense of humor.
Well, the best jokes are about Russians and Mexicans.
Oh yes, exactly right. But in any case, like these days, the models have gotten like pretty good, and like currently, my sort of last big project that I'm going to like land as part of my CPython developer in residence position is merging MemoryPython.org with SpeedPython.org.
Nice.
There's like, there's like changes happening with that, and obviously me as a pragmatic, like, you know, opportunist, like I'm not only using Claude Code on the coding side, I'm also pressing that Copilot review button on the other side.
No.
You know what's
fucking
best
bytecode
about
the
this?
change.
That,
No.
like,
My beautiful web.
Claude Code was actually pretty good at, like, you know, kind of connecting all of the dots of the front end that is actually having a front end and back end part, and the back end that is actually like fast API with.
You hated the front end, no? You didn't like the front end.
I still do, but like Claude Code makes it bearable. I am not a fan of Next.js. I will never be a fan of Next.js.
That's what when I did this, if you recall, I was at Bloomberg, and that's what I used. So, like, that's why I used Next.js.
That's all right, but like, yeah, there's changes, and then you create PRs, and they land on like GitHub, and I see, Pablo, review this change. And Pablo says, I can do it in the middle of the night or tomorrow, or, well, I'm at work now, like, you know, kind of making the big bucks. So you're on your own. So I'm like, oh.
I didn't say that.
Well, like you said that I will have time at night. Is literally what you said. Like it's somewhere in our messages.
Well, and I did review that. No, like,
sure. But in the meantime, I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, well.
Oh, in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like, what can I do?
Excuse me.
So I press the Copilot button, and Copilot immediately creates like 4 comments.
I hate the Copilot button.
So
it's so fucking
it
annoying.
creates 4 comments, and I'm looking at the comments, and it's like, one of them actually looks like, wow, this is interesting.
Dude, why you summarize the PR for me?
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah, so that's silly.
Like, it's fucking, I know what I did.
But there's 4 comments on it, and like 3 are like, yes, technically you're correct, but like, what's the point? But
Exactly.
But
it's so
one,
fucking annoying.
but
like,
one,
same in my PR.
One is like, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, if I am not mistaken, this is interesting. But let's see if Claude Code also gets this. So I'm going back to Claude Code, and I'm like, look, you can use the GH tool to see comments that Copilot left on your PR. Like, tell me if you agree or disagree with them. And like Claude disagrees with 3 as we disagree. It's like, yeah, maybe technically true, but like not worth it, whatever.
The bots are talking to each other.
But the 4th one, like, I have this screenshot of this where Claude says, Copilot found a real bug in your application. This is right, because you know what? In one part of your Python code, where you were using like asynchronous, like, you know, kind of APIs or whatever, there was a commit. There was a line with commit, but it did not have a wait on it. So this commit was not actually committing, and Copilot noticed this, and Claude.
Oh, did I miss that?
There was no await on a commit on one line.
Oh, that was my code.
Mm-hmm. And it found that, and like, even though like Claude was adding more tests before, it also missed that. So Copilot found it, and then Claude is like, oh.
But I remember running with -w with -x error in async.io the bug. So that should flag it, no? Like, correcting not awaited.
I guess I'm not sure what happened there, but like there's still a PR. You can still look it up. Like it's still there. Like
no, I believed you. I mean, I made bugs like everyone else.
Now at this point, we're like, worst case, it will just generate in a few minutes like comments that you're not gonna use. Like, not a big deal. You can just close them. It's almost like when Yuri Selivanov is like commenting on my PRs. I can just close the comments. It's like, who cares? I mean, you know, right? So no different.
But then you accept the fucking suggestions, and it says co-authored by Copilot. And
so
like,
honestly, none of those PRs that I worked on with Claude, I like hid the fact
the real
that Claude
question
was there. I'm not like one of those people who are like clearly AI generated, but it doesn't say anywhere. I'm like, you should be able to see it.
Shit. Wait. What is the thing? The real question, Łukasz. What review was better? My review or ChatGPT plus Claude?
When I get it, yours. Definitely better. 100 times better.
You got it?
Yeah.
I reviewed your PR.
Yes, but I explained the order of events. Like, the only reason why, like...
Yeah. But like, so you got 2 reviews, no?
Yes.
So you got 2 reviews. So which one was better?
Well, yours was better.
Okay. But you're not just saying it because at this point in time I'm 1/5 of your boss.
No, like what can you do? Can you fire me faster than I'm actually
Nothing.
gonna?
Just to be clear, the boss thing is just almost like a stupid joke. There is no boss in this. It's just like agreeing. Okay, good job.
In any case, all I'm saying is that we are in pretty interesting times because the tools like start being pretty surprisingly effective. Still, as I say, like if you want me to share with you my folder of like silly things that Claude keeps telling me, like I have, even today, I generated a new one.
I mean, I'm receiving a stream in iMessage, so I just find it hilarious all the time.
Yeah, like
Do you know something that I find very funny? So okay, at work I'm slowly getting into this AI thing because like everybody's using it. So like I'm clearly going to fall behind. So I at least I want to understand how to use it better. I'm still not comfortable with like some other things people do, but like one of the things I do quite a lot of work and is fucking miserable. Work and outside is fucking miserable is debugging because debugging is hard and annoying and it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
But it must be done.
This is
but
why
also,
you need tooling for it. You need
exactly.
support.
And this is fine. Like I don't mind. So one thing I say is like, okay, all the things that are generated during debugging, like is to throw away. So I just don't fucking care about the code. Like, just hacking just to understand the code. No?
Yeah.
And I do have plenty of theories about like what may happen here, right? And sometimes I don't have any theory. So I figured that something that I wanted to change, like, okay, can I don't know, open like 3 clouds that are like looking around, and like testing theories and shit. And meanwhile, I do my own debugging. Very important, that part, right? And then like from time to time, either when I find that my theory was incorrect or when I want to like check what happened, I just check on the clouds. And the clouds are like, we found this thing. And so, most of the time it's mega bullshit. To be honest, like they say, oh yeah, it's this thing. And like, dude, no. Like, you see, it's not this thing. Okay. You're absolutely right. And then like they keep clothing or like whatever they say. So most of the time, like I will say 20% of the time, like they have done something useful. The rest is like garbage because you need to keep telling them that they're wrong. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes I really do like Pablo Galindo cosplay with Claude Code because I was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like this. And then Claude would say, and I quote, because I'm looking at a screenshot like of one interaction, "You are right, I was wrong."
Really?
Yes.
Genius.
Yeah, but it also is sometimes cheeky. Like once I created a new test to tell it, look, what you implemented does not actually work because there's this new test that shows the thing is incomplete. And Claude tried for like 3 times to actually make the implementation like actually also cover the test. And then when it couldn't, it just said, let me revert the sabotage. And it just tried to remove the test. And I'm like, no, this is not sabotage. This is part of the spec. What are you talking about?
I'm clearly behind this, so I don't know how to properly do the fucking incantations, but like something that I'm doing, I find it very funny that Claude says like, oh, yeah, it's this thing, I know it. And then I just know it's garbage, but I don't want to just write, no, it's garbage because blah, blah. So I just say, bro. and then Claude is like, oh, yeah, it's true. It's like, what I'm saying. Dude, okay, so what I wanted to say, one thing that I find fucking infuriating is that one thing that Claude likes to say a lot in these particular circumstances, like debugging, is like, this is the smoking gun. Like, this is the smoking gun. Stop fucking saying that. Man, if Claude says, like, public service announcement. If Claude Code says this is the smoking gun, it's not the smoking gun. like it is not. It is not. Just pushback is never the smoking gun. Like ask for proof. Like trick I'm learning. Ask for proof, and then Claude will say, "I will be sincere with you. I don't have any proof. I made it up." It's like. No problem, Claude. It's fine. I mean, you're doing great, but like the fucking go ahead. So very useful, like because you can actually test several theories in parallel.
Yeah.
I like that. That is something I enjoyed. Very useful as well to write like fucking code that you don't fucking care about to just check something. Also, don't be fooled into not reviewing that code at least a bit, because like it may tell you shit that is not real what you want. So like important. Or tell him another trick I'm learning. I'm slowly learning, right? Another trick I'm learning: ask the fucking Claude to do 2 versions of that and check that the numbers are the same. Important.
Yeah. But like still, like the kind of example of the PR that I gave today is about like us being able to just test things and look at how would it look like if we did a thing, and then when we don't pursue it, it's not going to be like I'm going to feel sort of defeated by the fact that I spent 2 weeks on it, like nicely translating C into Python, only to learn that people don't want to like deal with the bullshit after they see how the result looks like.
It is true.
It's like 2 days, and it was like a worthy experiment to actually see like how would it look like, even if we close the PR, which we will, like it's still there. It's not going to be like, it's not going to disappear. So we can get back to it. Like if we ever need Unicode data and say like, this is how it looks like, and we can sort of pick up from there. So that was just like very educational. And like to close on that topic, I would like to say that like the way I'm most productive with the model is usually by just giving it a very small thing for one session. And then given that now we have like this 1 million tokens of context thing, if you tell it, hey, we have 1 million tokens of context. Don't worry about reading files in their entirety. We have the space. You can just read the file. Don't grep like for just a single line. Don't grep log output because you're gonna miss things. Because very often it'll misinterpret things because it grepped too hard and it didn't see everything that was happening, right?
you grep too hard. Like grab.
Yeah, like I mean, literally, don't you see it doing it? Like it'll just like filter too much, filter out stuff, and it then doesn't understand what's going on.
But it's very
yeah.
fun
So if you say, hey, we have 1 million tokens of context, relax. The only thing that I need to do from you is this one thing. Just do this one thing, and then we're golden. Then it actually starts like being much kind of less weird because it will just read the entire files. It will not like grep logs crazily. It will just do the thing as you would do it, and then it will see things and it's more successful. And something that Armin Ronacher taught me, that if the course of action gets derailed because, for example, it is unable to pip install because we are CPython and there's no virtual env and you cannot just pip install something and you're trying to test coverage or whatever.
Forward progress.
Just cancel the session, start a new one, because like every now and again when stuff gets really derailed,
Tinted, yes.
Yeah, like it's just worse. It'll just behave worse. So starting over is better.
I need to learn so many things, man. Like this is like a new tool.
You know what else we need to learn? We also need to learn like what was going on in CPython in 3 months that we were not here. What's going on
in CPython? Let's talk.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about what was going on.
All right.
Because there is plenty of general shit to cover. And the stuff that I want to begin with is actually, if you were waiting for 3 months for us to say what's going on in CPython, and now you are like really sort of devoid of knowledge because we did not release any episodes, then there is a new game in town. You can go over to coredispatch.xyz.
Coredispatch?
Yes, coredispatch.xyz, which is...
Who made that?
Savannah Bailey's newsletter about changes in core Python. So, yeah.
Savannah.
Yes, Savannah did that.
I have to say something.
Yeah.
I find every frontend that Savannah does particularly exquisite. Like, it's... Like, I'm not saying it just because we are friends, okay? Like, we are friends and I just, like, close your peers. I didn't close any peers. But, I don't know. I wanted to say this. Like, I'm pretty brutal when it's needed. But I don't know, like, is this kind of, like, cozy feeling. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, she does this like, and I don't see the colors well. So
But
like,
she uses the
I'm
colors
full
of
shit.
the REPL, so she
Yeah,
likes
I don't know.
those.
Like, it's like tasteful. It's tasteful.
I
Like,
also think that actually, yes. So like, yes, like the
I mean, I think memory.python.org is tasteful, but like, it's also more generic. Like, it's done with frameworks. So like, it's just like fucking garbage. But
coredispatch.xyz. Go there and see if you agree with us that like it is beautifully designed and it is full of information about what is going on in a given week. So it's not like such a long laundry list as what we're gonna go through today. I don't know. Like, hopefully, it's going to be more regular and with smaller chunks. So yes, we are happy to see this new player in town for this. So it sort of takes some of the pressure from us. We do expect to continue releasing the podcast when we are 8 hours away from each other time zone wise.
Oh.
But this will make things interesting, huh?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a nocturnal animal, so like that will be fun.
Yes.
And my office is quite well
Insulated.
isolated.
So yes.
But let's move on. Savannah, amazing. Go to coredispatch.xyz.
Where else can you go?
A fuck ton of alphas have been released of 3.15. Well done, Hugo. Including Alpha 4 that was accidentally built from a commit from last year.
Yes, and then
this was secretly my nightmare. Like I had these dreams.
Yes.
When I released Python 3.11 from like 3.10 or some shit.
Yeah, so I don't know how this never happened to me because like it sounds like something I would do, but yeah, that somehow never happened to me. But what did happen is Anthony Sotile. You know?
Yes.
It's of Italian descent, like this last name. So Sotile is how you actually pronounce it. But he also says like Sotili would be fine. So, but like Sotile is the Italian pronunciation. So let's do that. Like he quickly caught this. And Hugo released Alpha 5 the next day.
But you know what he said when he got it?
What did he say?
That's a smoking gun.
Yes, that we are 280 comments behind.
Yes, wow.
Yeah. The final Alpha is 8. It was released just now. So yeah, you can fetch that latest Alpha as well as Bugfix releases for 3.13. 13 and 3.14.4.
Yes.
What else is new on the team?
Well, okay, so we have new core developers. One of them is Stan Ulbrich,
Yes.
also known as Stan from Ireland. It's literally the handle. So amazing. This was long overdue, but now he's part of the team, one of us. And also, a very close person to us, good old Itamar Oren from Meta.
Yeah, welcome.
All right, but we have another thing, which is like PyCon US, which you should come, except Łukasz is not coming.
Yeah, so I cannot come because I wish I could, but it was literally around the time that I'm going to be moving continents. So like, excuse me if I have more pressing matters this year.
Excuse me.
I am very sad about this. It's going to be the first PyCon US that I'm missing since 2012. I've been on all of them. Like since 2012 inclusive. So yeah, like it's there's some people that otherwise I never see. So I'm sad. But PyCon US wants you to come. This year it's in California, Long Beach. It's wonderful. The hotel block that they have there is still like pretty like open in terms of reservations. So you could be very close to the venue. If not in the venue proper, I don't even know. But yeah, like help them if you're local or local-ish. You could hop on a nice, small, regular domestic flight to reach California and help your fellow Python Software Foundation people by attending. And also help the people that like all make all the talks, like, you know, appear on their talks and clap and ask questions and so on. Show some support. So yes, if you can do this,
indeed.
Do it. I'm ironically gonna be with this other guy at EuroPython, which is in Poland this year, which would be very convenient for me. But I'm actually going to be traveling all the way from Canada for it. But yeah, it's just life.
It's what it is, Łukasz. It's what it is.
It's what it is. You know what is not what it was?
What is not what it was?
Blog.python.org.
Oh, because now it's AI generated. No, sorry, they call it this. No, like it's
I guess
like
so.
bytecoded.
But the thing is,
Do you know how I know it's bytecoded? I mean, it's tastefully bytecoded. Actually, it's so much better. But like, do you know how I know it's bytecoded? Trick.
how?
Do you know that there is this little thing that like is in a lot of bytecoded shit? There's this like blinking dot. There is a blinking dot. Like if you go to blog.python.org, no, blog.python.org, you will see that there is a blinking dot. You see that says latest, and it's like blinking dot.
Oh, and normally people don't do that?
This is Claude likes this shit like it's like fucking New Year's like party. Like this thing is like everywhere. It's like blinking dot. That fucking blinking dot. It loves the blinking dots like so much. And I find it particularly bad because like certain profiler that I made uses this thing to just tell that it's profiling because I find it quite cool in the terminal. But like I have seen that this fucking blinking dot is in all the AI generated like
Websites.
To be honest, like this I love the blog. It's so much faster and beautiful, and it reads amazing. It highlights the links to the old blog, and if it's issues, I don't know. It's just. It's just better, like, and like has like system themes. I don't know. It's just really great. It's really tasteful.
Yeah, like
I like it.
To be clear, what we had before was literally Blogger, the thing that Google bought and never made any changes to it, like since they bought it, like in some 25 years ago.
Shame.
Like so, it looked the part, and it looked like it belonged in the Web 2.0 era. So yes, finally that, because what you did not see was the backend for it, like for how you created new blog posts, like. It was really not from 2020s, so it was pretty scarily outdated. Now that's a new era of Python blogging. So go to blogpython.org to see how it should have looked like for a couple of years now. But like now we're very happy that we have this new generation of our blog.
Exactly, amazing. But now. Good, cool features. Okay, you start.
All right. So since our last episode, there were so many months between now and then that the number of commits made like is counted in the thousands. So
1,000.
us looking through all of them, yes, but still, like it's more than 1,000 commits. So us looking through all of them was impossible. So we looked through like the ones that got the most activity and sort of judged through that. So if we missed your new feature that you want us to cover, let us know. And on our next episode in October, we'll definitely mention your feature. No, hopefully our next episode is going to be sooner than October. So
yes,
features.
Do you only need to move to Canada once?
Hopefully there's not going to be moving back because of, things that might happen in the current situation. Anyway, well, let's put it that way. I intend to only go one way. So, features. Lazy imports were implemented by this other guy who added 5,000 lines to Python. It was one of the most discussed changes. It took quite a while and a lot of review to get PEP 810 into the practical, usable mode where you can actually say lazy import things, and it even syntax highlights correctly in the REPL. So amazing,
exquisite. Do you know what's very cool apart from Canada?
What?
It's frozen dict. Oh, it's cold.
But frozen dict comes
PEP
to us.
814. Wow.
Yes.
Frozen dict implemented. Only 580 lines.
Yeah, that was surprising.
What a noob. Against my 5K lines. Actually, very, very impressive. So Victor Stinner, the one and only.
Yes, so maybe that would be from Quebec, but no, it's from France. So frozen dict comes from France. Where are there
from the
real winters? Of course, because there's Alps, so you can ski like.
But he's from the Marseille region.
Exactly.
I think it's still his. Okay. The amazing Victor Stinner implemented frozen dict, which is like dict, but like frozen. And then you cannot change.
That's the most technical explanation
You
you'll
cannot change
ever
it.
get.
No, that's not the button. Okay, 1 second.
Łukasz Langa, surprise question. Is frozen dict a subclass of dict? Quickly. Don't think about it.
I don't
Quickly.
think so. No, it
No,
shouldn't be. You
of
know
course
why?
it's not.
Because Liskov substitution principle.
Exactly. But you know what is very annoying therefore? You cannot pass this to exec. No. So you cannot have a global dict that will be immutable such that exec cannot change it. Oh, that's very annoying because like exec rejects things that are not subclass of dict. Very well.
If only we knew people who can mutate this code so that it would accept frozen dict instances. If only we knew
No,
a
the
guy.
steering council explicitly thought that was like, okay. I remember bringing it up. Okay, now it's your turn.
So there is more peps to come. And I will want to cover two that I have personal relationship with because I am listed as a sponsor on them. So first of all, Mscripten is now a supported tier 3 platform with CI machines and with a build bot and PEP 776, even though it's marked as informational, best kind of PEP, was actually officially so endorsed, accepted by the steering council, as was PEP 783, which will put Mscripten wheels on PyPI. So if you are using Pyodide and you use this micro pip in the browser, you will be able now to essentially download your dependencies straight from PyPI and not from whatever distribution Pyodide itself is, which hopefully will end up with Mscripten growing as a platform with having more and more extensions ready for being used directly, like being provided directly by the authors, by the maintainers, and being usable by anybody in the browser. So I was always a big supporter of this use case of Python. It is very much like an underdog. I know everybody cares about like data centers and AI today, but there's so much cool stuff you can do with Python in the browser. So now this is becoming increasingly supported and mature option. So 776 accepted. 783 also accepted.
Amazing. So there is another interesting thing that happened. Antonio Cooley, our good friend, made something in PyREPL. He had 590 lines. Why all these things about the lines?
I don't know.
So he had 590 lines to PyREPL using something cool called Fancy Completer, because that was part of the original PyPy code for PyREPL, because PyPy code has this spaceship-like stuff that we didn't actually pour over. I don't know how it was called, like Fancy Completer? No, that's the one here. It was Fancy REPL or something like that. We didn't pour the spaceship prompt, but there is this other thing where you could like color the completion. So if you do like OS dot and then you press tab, it will show you different things, a lot of things actually. And then with the Fancy Completer, you can get different colors for different categories of things. So for instance, like all the constants are one color and the functions are. It's very cool. So he made this thing, and then like a fuck ton of people appear and like with opinions and like a lot of people and Antonio Cooley fought like brilliantly like left and right and like for all these people like implemented. But at some point he gave up.
Yeah,
it was too much.
Yes, he had to move on. But like the PR was there for over a year.
There is a lesson here. There is a lesson, Łukasz Langa.
Yeah.
If you use your maintainer powers too much, you may lose the contributors. So it's a good lesson. And Antonio is a good contributor. It's not like any random person.
Sure. At the same time, he did not close the PR, and in the end, he won the war of attrition.
Because what happened, Łukasz Langa?
Well, because like a few other people said like, oh, I would want this, but finally Pablo appeared and said like, oh, I'm gonna cut the Gordian knot.
Well, I also fixed all of the. I also fix all of the issues, but yes. I mean, very small things mostly. Not all of them, by the way. I didn't fix the mega hack, the mega hack, Jesus fucking Christ, that hack. So I look into that, and because I have the other PR, the one introducing the abstractions, which is conflicting with this. So because I was going to do that, I say, okay, I will fix it in the other one, right? The mega hack is that it was secretly adding some mysterious, like not really escape codes, but like things that look like escape codes, so such that when you sort the fucking bytes, it will sort them in the order that you want. But then guess what? It didn't work because
Yes, new terminals actually interpreted those escape codes.
because new terminals are like, I like this shit.
Yeah.
Now this, you know what that thing means? Like it's blinking. So now you press OS, and it was Homer Simpson webpage, like shit dancing like and like fucking
Teething
like some
problems.
fucking carnival. Dude, you know what happened? I opened this for the first time, and I saw the fucking carnival, and before reading the actual code in detail and discovered that, of course, this logic was actually in fact not implemented. I didn't see any of this blinking shit, but I saw straight through, no, like
strike through.
test.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he implemented deprecation.
Deprecations, yes.
So it's like, oh, RTLD global is deprecated.
Oh, that would be weird.
Yeah, that would be amazing. No, that would be good. But like, unfortunately, it will never happen. But no, of course, he didn't implement deprecation. It was Homer Simpson webpage.
But still, like by knowing this, you could actually like now have like a open an issue, and 30 seconds later, you're gonna get a PR adding deprecations.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody will add it.
The deprecate, yes, Copilot made. But then Stan appeared. I think it was Stan, and he's like, "What is this circus?"
Yes.
It's like, I was like, but like my plan is to fix the circus in the other PR. But then I thought, I don't want to hold the other PR like hostage, in the sense that the other PR is like quite long, and I don't want to say, oh, but they will fix this other issue as well. Like, you must take it. So because I'm a pure soul, I say, okay, no, let's fix this independently, and then the other PR must stand on its own, which I did. So I fixed it independently. Doing what? Implementing a part of the other PR secretly. So, but you know what part? Like not fucking merging the evil bytes, but having a tuple. So like easy peasy. But yes, amazing. So now PyREPL will do a bunch of very cool shit. Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah,
we love
fucking
it.
amazing.
Yes. We also like unpacking incomprehensions, which is like a chunky boy of a PR. 3,300 lines
Chunky
added
boy.
by Adam J. Hartz. So that implements PEP 798. Pretty cool. Like unpacking incomprehensions is one of those things where you will likely almost never use it, but every now and again, if you wished for it to be there, it's just gonna be there for you, just like assignment expressions and a bunch of other weird syntax that like, normally, who cares, but if you actually want it, it is so useful that you can say A, comma B equals B, comma A. How elegant. So now, unpacking comprehensions. $10 that I will use it once in 2026. But it's one of those things where if useful,
10 times? I don't know. How many times have you used the walrus?
No, what I'm saying is I'm putting $10 that I'm gonna use it once in 2026.
I see.
Yeah, the walrus, like honestly, I find myself using it like quite often early on when I want like a regular expression or something. Then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, of course, this is the use case, so I'm going to be adding it. And then for whatever reason, I would do a little refactor of the code, and then the assignment expression is no longer necessary. So every now and again, it's like it starts out with an assignment expression but doesn't live to be one. What is actually surviving more in my code is pattern matching these days. So it's something that I did not expect.
Are you into that?
Yeah. If I
have
actually
read it once.
No, I ever since I actually found like a good use case for it, like I I use it increasingly. So yeah.
All right. More stuff.
More stuff. OpenSSL 4.0. What does that
OpenSSL.
bring to us? Like, are we happy about OpenSSL still being the main game in town?
No.
Well, not really, right? But they will actually release the final release of 4.0 super soon. So Victor Stinner already adopted one of their pre-releases to Python to see if it's gonna work. So far, so good. Looks like we will be able, and on track to adopt OpenSSL 4.0. Is this one of those that already provide this post-quantum encryption that will survive this onslaught of broken TLSs and asymmetric key exchange algorithms and whatever?
Post-quantum.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually have not paid attention to what OpenSSL 4.0 brings, but I'm happy that we are on top of this game too. What we are also on top of is PEP 803, which is something that we very much wanted, the stable ABI for free threading. That's implemented right now, and it's awesome that the PEP is accepted, and this is actually the future right now. So I'm very happy to see this. That's work by my coworker, Peter Victorin.
Amazing. And then Zelle Zelle. So Zelle implemented typeform with only 156 lines. Very cool. Actually, this is in your ballpark. So do you want to explain it?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of details in there, but the most basic explanation is that when you are constructing Python objects to describe types for a type checker, what are those? Those are actually accessible at runtime, but they are not Python classes. They're not Python types. So how do you call them? What are those objects? Well, we call them type forms. And those type forms are in theory accessible at runtime, but how would you really use them if you had say iterable of string, right? Or some generic class or a protocol? What would you do with that? Well, you could use this to implement some sort of runtime type checking or something that actually relies on static typing types, which again are not runtime classes. They don't behave like regular Python classes. So how do you type a function that accepts this static typing sort of object? You cannot just say type of iterable of string, because that would just say that this is just going to be a class. So this new PEP essentially enables us to annotate this type form for usage of all those tools that implement runtime type checking and other sorts of transformations like data classes style or the sort of converters and so on that catters or scatters. What?
Cutters. Theaters, dude, cutters.
All right.
Cutters.
In any case, that's what it is for, to enable us to annotate functions that accept or emit type forms. So Python objects available at runtime that are static types.
Okay, so Ivona, you know her, she has been in the podcast a bunch of times, implemented differential frame graphs in the new profiler with a new flag, diff flame graph, and 1K lines, dude. So part let's stop talking about the fucking lines. It's the worst metric. So this is very cool because this will allow you to make a recording of one thing and then change slightly the thing, hopefully to a faster version, and then generating a flame graph that will tell you if it's faster or not. So you can cut through the fucking noise and it will just tell you the parts that go faster or slower. Just built in. You don't need to upload this anywhere else. So it's very cool, extremely useful. I predict this is going to be extremely well used.
Nice. The reason
let's keep going.
Yeah. The reason why I was actually mentioning the lines is that when I heard that a change I made was too big to backport, and I remembered us backporting changes 10 times as big. I was like, you want to know about lines? You will learn about lines in this episode. Let's talk about all lines. Yeah, but like let's like the joke got old. So let's talk about multiprocessing, the module that everybody hates but everybody is using at some point of their life.
Yes.
So
very, very important.
surprisingly, up until today, we did not have the master process, the main process spawning all the workers, actually propagate its -x parameters, passed to the interpreter, like to all of those workers. So Gregory P. Smith actually fixed this. Great. It seems to be like one of those omissions where I sort of assumed that was always working. So it's sort of weird that I never actually got bit by the fact that it's not, but good that now it's very transparent. So those worker processes behave the same way as your main process, because it can lead to weird differences.
All right. So now the other thing that is very cool is that time it. Your favorite thing that you should not use because you should use PyPerf, but this is in the standard library. Now it's configurable. You can pass a -- target time. And this is actually an old issue for 2019, a much elegant time when our AI overlords were not making weird shit. So very, very cool. And now you can try to configure it. And this is also showing to you that you can persevere. You can keep going, and we will eventually merge in your PR. Although, the issue is in 2019 because the PR was last year. All right.
Yeah, that issue was pre-pandemic. Huh?
Jesus.
Right, look at this. It's an old issue. Time it is very likely to actually grow color output as well. So maybe it will not look so much out of place.
Man, that would be amazing.
Hugo already has a PR that I'm reviewing open. We'll land it before beta 1. So yes, there's colors coming. There's even more colors. Where else can we add colors? Well, there's 3 PRs open right now. So there's gonna be more of them. Last thing that we want to cover as a feature is that Windows large page support via PyMalloc huge pages was added by Chris Abel. And in fact, maybe an even larger change for Windows users right now is that our binaries are now prepared, compiled with the tail call interpreter, even on Windows. So that actually made Savannah's graphs, beautiful graphs on does the JIT go brr?
best website.
Yes, because the JIT is metal, right? So of course, so those graphs actually now don't look as good for the JIT. What happened? What is the terrible regression of the pink line that was going down so nicely, and now it's back above 5%? Well, once the tail call interpreter was enabled on Windows, the base interpreter got so much faster. So the goalpost moved for the JIT guys. It's not that the JIT got worse, it's that everybody will now actually benefit from faster Python on Windows thanks to this interpreter, between 15 and 20% in fact. So that's awesome to see. And since I'm already talking, I could obviously bore you to death about free threading changes. And since we actually now are recording all long episodes again, it seems, let me just cover 3 things.
Yes, well, I mean, we need to...
Yes, all the way to 2 hours now, huh? Let's see. So just 3 things about free threading that I think are really worth mentioning in the grand scheme of things. So first of all, Kumar unlocked scalability of enums in free-threaded environments, which
scalability of enums.
Well, because before, there were issues with actually them blocking all of the scalability that you should normally expect. It wasn't working. Now, the benchmarks with enums are 6 times faster on a 6-core machine. So thanks, Kumar. And 2 other things that I wanted to mention is that docs became quite awesome. Now we have documented thread safety guarantees for both lists and dicts. That's work by Lissandros. And another thing that Lissandros did is establish thread safety level annotations for CAPI functions. And those are particularly awesome because you can literally see now in our CAPI whether a function is thread safe and to which level. So there's levels from incompatible, which means they're not safe even with external locking, through compatible, meaning safe if the caller serializes all access with external locks, through distinct, shared, to atomic, which obviously atomic means you don't have to worry about locks. It will be thread safe regardless. So CAPIs now are kind of annotated like that. And there is an entire new section on the thread safety documentation in docs.python.org that is about the thread safety levels. And moreover, when you have CAPI like documentation that is generated from our like annotations through like our tool that is called tools extensions C annotations, this will now apply those valid thread safety levels. So that is pretty cool to see like on all sorts of manners of CAPIs. So great. This will hopefully help with adopting free threading and with establishing good patterns of user code.
Amazing, Lisandros. Amazing. Now, we had a new Apple release in the new numbering schema, 26, I think.
Yes.
Which is weird, kind of. But now we have CI running on Tahore.
Yes.
Very cool. We also have something very cool. pprint, your favorite function to pretty print shit, expanded a keyword that took 258 days to merge. Well, I mean, almost a year. Not the worst. We have heard quite worse here. But, you know, fun
I'm
thing.
also hearing pprint is growing syntax highlighting, but don't quote me on that. But
I'm certain Barry Warsaw has a pub ready, almost going. You know about this?
No.
The pprint protocol. So you can like implement under pprint. But you know what this parameter does? Is expand, and it will open parentheses and brackets that will be followed by a new line. If the following content will be indented by one level. So you can like, you know, expand. Very cool, very useful. All right. So the last thing is Bugfixes. So Bartos is
Yes.
like how you pronounce it? Bartos. What about the surname? Slavecki.
Sławecki. Yes.
Sławecki. So he made a PR that makes basically a clearer syntax error because like he has been submitting a bunch of like PRs, among others, improving like, you know, syntax errors here and there, when it will like better messages for trailing commas after single items. For instance, when you say with item, comma, and then colon. Like so I don't know, it can happen in a refactor. And now it will like kind of tell you when things are. And then our friend Victor Stiner implemented sysconfig.getPlatform on Windows that now reads from the _sysconfig module instead of parsing sysversion.
Wow. Okay. So we're doing the big boy thing, like finally on Windows after 30 years.
Wow. Very, very cool. I mean, it's the best bug fixes.
Yes. It's somewhat related to the work that I've been doing this week. And unlike mine, this actually got merged and good. Format exception only in the traceback module also now colorizes exception notes. And this is configurable, how you would like to colorize them in the themes. So yes, that's by Stan Ulbrich. So very nice. Thank you for that.
All right. So Stan is on fire. More shit with -x. So Victor Stiner, wow, man, like 3 seconds since we mentioned Victor Stiner. So he made a change called -x presite, also known as Python _presite. You may know these variables sometimes have an underscore and sometimes don't, because like, you know, we like to make it confusing. I think it was,
I wonder who added that.
Yes, it was you all along. So this thing -x presite now accepts a module column function format for fine-grainer setup customization. This is extremely useful actually. I will use it.
Yeah. So you know what presite is for?
It will tell you where is the site that goes before the site.
Yeah. So it allows you to like inject code into an interpreter before the site module is called, and how that's useful. For example, there's a few use cases, but one use case that is particularly interesting is to calculate code coverage of code that is called very early on in the interpreter, because otherwise, if you tried to like run tests for code that is invoked when the interpreter is bootstrapping, then you will just not see very many lines covered, because all of this module level computation already happened through being invoked by site py or whatever. So -x presite or the environment variable Python _ presite is for that. You can just put a file there, or now you can just say module function to be imported from your sys.path. And Victor Stinner added that. So cool.
That's very cool, and you can do it, I suppose, before PTH file or even run, right?
Yes.
It's like those are being made by the side module.
Exactly.
Very cool, very cool. And then we have like a bunch of like smaller things, like for instance, login.formatter and login.filter now has a REPL support, which like is nice, nice custom, not like, you know, login.filter at X, blah, 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 blah. And then Sergey Storchaka, the other developer in residence, I think the deputy developer in residence.
The supporting developer in residence.
Supporting deputy mega pro. So he...
Pro Max.
Pro Max subscription. Senor. So he added a change such that a bunch of bytes and byte array functions, a bunch of like byte related shit like memory view and binasky and whatnot, they accept now sys max size and -6 max size for the separator. Very cool.
So next episode, we will cover async functions. We'll talk about generators. We promise. Is this going to be in the very next episode? Well, maybe. We'll see. The plans change. Maybe the industry is going to change between this episode and the next so much that we're going to have to talk about that instead. We'll see how the vibe actually is in terms of me communicating with a guy on another continent, on an island, but you know, it still counts. Yeah, but hopefully soon enough, after we sort of establish our rhythm 8 hours apart, we will continue this great project. And in the meantime, go to coredispatch.xyz and enjoy news about core Python development from there. And what's up with you? Are you still like, you know, working to the late hours of night? And how is your job and everything?
My job, like Hudson River trading.
Yeah.
Applied today.
Applied today. Okay.
Yes, I'm working a lot. Probably it's illegal to say how much, but like, yes. Why are you asking? I mean, we are having the podcast, so like, I have time for this. Is that you're afraid that I will disappear?
I'm not. I'm just asking how you are.
Many people. So the rumors are overstated. Like everybody's like, oh, Pablo is not contributing. The fuck, I'm not contributing. Have you seen like what happened last week? Like I just merge all the PRs and like, not all the PRs, but I review all the PRs.
No, that's good.
I make a lot of changes.
That's good.
Not only that, I made changes in at least 6 different repos other than CPython. Now I'm a contributor of Polars, Samply, the Samply profiler, Holshim. I'm doing PRs here and there, dude, like fixing this, fixing that, like blah, blah, blah. You know, like the spirit is alive.
Oh, so now like I can almost see you like contribute to another profiler.
What? The secret profiler that will appear at some point. But that's not contribution. That's my profiler and my job.
Okay.
The Uber profiler.
So in the meantime, maybe you will contribute to...
No. I will not do such a thing.
Okay.
Maybe someone wants to contribute to... Shit, come on, no. Come on. Okay, the thing, right? Okay. So, yeah, we will not contribute to profiler. But I'm contributing to this like mega over profiler just to keep alive the joke that Pablo just does more fucking profilers.
And linkers.
But this one is really cool. I mean, you have seen it.
Yes.
And someone would say, well, how is it cooler than like the other profiler that you just made months ago? This is actually not only much faster, I mean, maybe not that much faster, but it's faster. But it has a bunch of features that could never 1 million. This is actually 1 million and 1.2 million.
Nice.
Because like we don't need to use Python for the the reader side.
Right.
So I mean that that Python is like slow or whatever.
I'm sure we'll hear about it
But
soon
it has a bunch
enough.
of features that you cannot have in the standard library, as you very well know.
That's true.
And it has a bunch of other shit. Like it's also a debugger. Like it's everything. Like in one single thing, and it has all sorts of cool shit.
But
I'm very proud of
can I
this.
talk to it?
No. But it will have an MCP. So like you will.
So
be able
I will
to
be able
say-
to talk to it.
Yes, you will be able to say, Claude, debug this code using the new profile that Pablo made, and Claude will say, I will say, oh, the smoking gun, this is the smoking gun, this is the smoking gun. But still not yet. But yes, I'm so proud. We'll probably make it open source at some point. But like we need to test it by fire.
Very cool.
And it's also compatible with the
Was that
Tachyon.
with?
It's compatible with Tachyon. Like you can read Tachyon files.
That's good actually. Yes. All right. So use Tachyon today
It's very
to be
cool.
ready for the future tomorrow.
Yes. And with that, see you next time.
See you next time.
Plonk.